Hi, I'm Lisa, and this is Earth. I'm a late 50s something woman trying to figure out retirement on a budget, looking at off-grid options and enjoying some incredible scenery along the way. I'm out here today in the foothills of the Sandia Mountains. I'm going to do my best today to answer some of your questions about me, my channel, what I'm looking for in land, off-grid land in New Mexico. What do I expect my future to look like? I don't know. Let's find out. If this isn't framed up right, I'm blaming the sun. Why New Mexico? My search centers around New Mexico because that's where I've lived for the past nearly 5 years. And I'm staying kind of to the western states because I have family in California. I don't really want to be that far away from them if I can help it. I have looked in other western states, pretty much all of them, but I haven't really found anything that is calling to me, you know? Plus it has to be in my budget. That's a pretty limiting factor. I also looked into some European countries, specifically France because I speak a little French, and some others. I was blown away at how much lower the cost of living is. Man, I hate that term. The prices for property and rent in a lot of European countries are half. Like my apartment that I'm living in now in France would be maybe $700-800. Plus, once you've lived there for a while, you get the benefit of free healthcare. But again, I didn't want to be that far from family, so I'm gonna do my best to make it work in the States. What sites did I use to find land? I used a mixture of Zillow and land.com, also landsearch.com. Once I found some properties that interested me, I researched the counties and what restrictions there were. It's very important that you decide what it is you want to do. Call them, ask them, is that something that you can do there? And a lot of counties that don't have restrictions will default to the state restrictions. Very important to verify any information you find online, especially if it's AI generated. My understanding is that AI gets up to 40% of its information from Reddit. So you may as well search Reddit. Call the county, go straight to the source. Why off-grid? This is a kind of a tough one to answer because I have a lot of answers to this question. In my opinion, the game is rigged. Just enough to keep you playing. Just enough to keep you thinking you might make it. Kind of like Vegas, but not as much fun. Choosing to opt out of all of it as much as I comfortably can. I'm wanting to spend the resources that I have on something for me versus some psychopathic billionaire. The currency that I'm playing with is my time, my energy, my health, and the return on investment isn't there. How off-grid do I intend to live? I'm not at all against options. In fact, I feel it's pretty important to have a plan B or C. If there are utilities available that can be brought to the property affordably, wherever I do end up buying, I would do that just for the added property value and to have options. I intend to work toward being solar powered with generator backup. I want to drop my earbud. I want to set up rain catchment before the next monsoon season. I will have to haul water in the interim, which is fine. I'm prepared to do that. I've been looking into septic alternatives like bio bags. Look it up. It's kind of weird, but also kind of interesting. Basically, you compost your waste as well as garden scraps, kitchen scraps, what have you, into this giant bladder that then produces methane, which you can use to power a stove, for example. So it's an interesting concept, but I'm skeptical. I'm going to look into it further. Until I can get that figured out, I will just be traveling with my black tank somewhere to get it pumped pretty regularly. Of course, I'm going to want to find an alternative for that soon because I'm sure that'll get old real quick. One thing I really want to do is set up a cat wheel and a stationary bike and hook it into some kind of power system. I would love it if my cat would start earning his keep. What are my goals? Simplification and no longer paying thousands of dollars for an apartment that should be hundreds of dollars. I really just want a quiet life filled with natural beauty and peace. What worries me? My first year will be very tight, but I am quite good at living frugally. I have an excellent credit score, no debt, all because I am very careful with my money and my expenditures. I don't have it all figured out. I don't have much of a buffer for the unforeseen. That's worrisome. But I also have faith because 100% of the things that I thought wouldn't work out did somehow. Maybe not how I thought, how I intended. It's both heartbreaking and community building to find so many other people in the same situation, struggling to figure out what should be the golden years. Do I have any construction experience? Will I build? Will I hire? I do. I have some construction experience. I've fenced in about 3 acres almost completely solo. I did need some help with the 12-foot gate. I'm amazing, if I do say so myself, at drywall. Mudding, taping, texture. Moving dirt with a skid steer is the best time. It's so much fun. So yeah, I'm pretty resourceful in a lot of ways, and I learn quickly. I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty, roll up my sleeves, and whatever I can't do, I will hire out or barter. What about when I'm older? That's a problem to be solved when I'm older. I'm literally solving for the immediate issues in my life right now. It's entirely possible that this kind of life will not work in my later years. My focus is on the here and now, and the future is always uncertain. I tend to not make a lot of long-term plans because I find that, in my experience, it's been a waste of time and energy, and it brings frustration being rigid. That kind of control is an illusion. It always has been. What is my timeline? My lease is up in February, so I have about 4 months to figure this out. Not terrible, but not great. I'm a planner. I try to plan while remaining flexible so that when stuff happens, like it always does, it's not the end of the world. It's just the next challenge to overcome. I've narrowed it down to 2 parcels, 3 parcels. 2 of these parcels are in the first video that I did, and the third is something that I haven't released publicly. What's my budget? See, I'm not sure how much I want to share. It seems to me that specifics like that about my financial situation, it's not something I'm really comfortable sharing publicly. Why not buy land that already has infrastructure? Because I haven't found any I could afford. Why not share price and exact location information? Privacy and safety, basically, in a nutshell. My channel is more of a vlog about my experiences trying to figure out retirement and looking for properties that I find suitable. Once I do purchase some land, I may share information about other parcels that I didn't choose, if there's interest in that. My favorite property from my first video sold before I could even make my second video. And I spoke with the seller, who told me that the buyer said that they had seen the land on YouTube, but not on the video they made about it, the seller made about it. It was a completely different video. Now, I don't know for sure, but there's a non-zero chance that the person who bought that saw my video and essentially bought it out from under me. So I'm decided to get a little smarter about this. Let's see. Can I do a comparative analysis of all the county's restrictions and the vibe of the regulating departments? Sorry, no. That's a different channel. One bit of advice, though. If you can find a way to speak to someone at the county who has worked there a while, there were a few times where I got completely different answers speaking to different people in the same department. That's frustrating and a waste of time. What work did I do that dried up? I'm still trying to figure out how much personal info to share on here. I imagine it may come up at some point, it's no big secret, but I feel like I need to be smarter about the info I put out there versus my usual complete oversharing. I'm gonna ease into that thoughtfully for a change. What do I expect my life to look like in 2 years? In 2 years, I want to be sitting in the sun eating a salad from the garden, from my garden. I want to be watching the wildlife go by and yelling at my cat to leave that butterfly alone. I will have created a routine that works for me. Because of limited funds, I'll be building pretty slowly. So in 2 years, I want to have created the peace of mind that I seek. Why YouTube / what are my YouTube goals? I've been a long-time YouTube consumer, and I've wanted to create a channel for a long time, but I kept putting it off because I kept reading that you have to find a niche, which seemed impossible because I have so many interests and my ADHD keeps cycling through them. So I just didn't for a long time. I honestly did not expect anyone to watch or care. I finally just did it as a way to kind of journal and document my land search to help with the constant rumination about all of the details of everything, and just kind of a way to keep things straight in my brain. I chose my channel name as kind of a nod to an old inside joke. My whole life I've felt like I was an alien sent here to Earth to observe the humans. Lisa of Earth is something that my brothers called me when I was little. As for the goals of the channel, I intend to just keep chronicling my experience in buying land, moving on it, scratching out a life, building, hopefully finding community, and seeing where it takes me. I don't know. In a nutshell, I don't know. I'm going to keep posting, and I hope you'll keep watching, but I'm going to keep posting and chronicling my experience regardless. Oh, and I got monetized. Woo. To date, I have made exactly 25 cents. And no, you may not have a loan. It opened up things like tips and super chats and memberships, which I hope to have figured out by the time this video goes live. So consider a membership. I think it will include creating a Discord channel where I can interact with you more easily, more readily than YouTube allows. And also you can interact with one another. There are a lot of you who have such great ideas, and you're so kind and gracious about how you share them. I would just love for that community to grow. There are so many of us in this boat, and it's a little less heavy if there are more hands to carry it. You know what I mean? How do I deal with hateful comments? It's not my first day on the internet. Human psychology has been a special interest of mine for a very long time. Once you realize how much any of that is projection, it's pretty easy not to take it personally. If the events of your life have brought you to a place where you've decided in that moment that the best use of your time and energy is to be hateful to a stranger on the internet, that makes me sad more than anything else. I'm very sorry for the circumstances that brought you here. To find that momentary rush of owning a stranger, choosing to indulge that momentary satisfaction actually physically rewires your brain over time. Anything you do every day has a profound effect on your life, good or bad. So choose wisely. Social media spaces are specifically designed to divide us and to foster hate, because hate is engagement and engagement is money. We're supposed to stay hostile toward one another so that we don't notice we're being exploited. I am in no way immune. I'm just aware of it. And once you see it, you can't not see it. Sometimes I will type something out that the hate machine has designed specifically for me and served up with my algorithm. But I'll stop myself and say, I don't need to say this. I don't need to put this out in the world today. And I'll delete it 9 times out of 10. I find myself searching for YouTube channels that are a break from the usual anger farming we are constantly bombarded with, and I want to create that here for my viewers, a respite channel of sorts. Just as I am attempting to create a peaceful life, I'd like to create a space here for us where it feels safe to exhale, unclench your jaw, and relax your forehead. And I hope you just did all 3. And most of all, to remember that there is more that unites us than divides us, no matter how hard you're being convinced otherwise. I'll be truck and camper shopping soon. I want to keep my setup small but mighty, so please comment your suggestions for good versus bad used 3/4 ton trucks and light travel trailers under around 20 feet in length. I have disabled channel memberships for now until I can set it up properly to add value for members. Remember when value for money was a thing? I'm a terrible capitalist. I'm starting in on what is likely to be the final job of my career for the next month, so I'm not going to have time to focus on that for a little bit. If there are membership perks that interest you and you'd like to see offered, please let me know in the comments. So that's not the wait. So I chose the other route. So I did not go the on. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon. In the meantime, remember to be kind.